Hello, welcome to Fulcro Connect. I'm here with my friends Sintayehu Areda and Mulugeta Zeleke from BRTU Construction. Thank you. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for saying yes. For the benefit of our audience, can you give a little background on MG, on Sint, on BRTU? So please.
Okay. Thank you for inviting us for this podcast. Enrique, this is again a good opportunity to connect.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Mulugeta Zeleke. I'm the CEO of BRTU Construction. BRTU has been in business the last 12 years, actually 10 years, excuse me. And the relation with Fulcro start right at the start of BRTU Construction. And it all has been a great and good relation. Fulcro has been the part of our growth and development in the construction industry through the inception, and we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you, Enrique. This is a good opportunity to say thank you for working with us through these years. I'm Sint Areda. I go by Sint, but Sintayehu, long name to say.
I had to say the full name.
Yeah, I'm surprised they said it right though. So Sintayehu. I'm president of BRTU Construction. BRTU started in 2012. And shortly after inception, I guess, we connected with you and worked with you through these years, and we are glad.
Thank you. Funny story, first time we met at your office, you thought I was not going to be able to say your name. I remember that, and I did successfully the first time. So,
the story is my long and difficult name I had experienced that turned away few potential friends, and that I found out that early in my professional. So MG came from that experience. So a lot of people like it because some people get intimidated because it's long and not familiar name. But it wasn't difficult as you've done it several times. All it takes was just read it like anything else.
It is little.
Yeah.
Very good. So, can you give a little background also on BRTU? What does BRTU do? What is BRTU?
BRTU is a civil contractor. All we do is civil construction, road, streetscape, site work, utility work. Occasionally we do take buildings, but it has to come with a large site package. We're not a vertical contractor. It means we're not just doing building. We do building only if it comes with a site package. Most of it we may not self-perform. We may subcontract most of the building section. But we do focus on civil projects all the time.
And you self-perform concrete work?
We self-perform utility, grading, as well as concrete and foundations.
Right.
Just to add, airport construction also as part of civil, but in addition to the road work, we engage in many airport projects, taxiways in the past we've done, a big parking lot projects and so on.
Right. So can we talk a little bit about our, I guess, Fulcro and BRTU's history, how we connected, and I guess, if you can provide some, I guess your impressions your impression at the time that we met, and throughout the years, how do you see, how do you see our relationship? Where do you see the value, if any? So if you could share some of that, some of that experience, I really appreciate it.
BRTU Construction started in 2012 as right after the Great Recession that the United States and the world actually experienced. We used to have another company that had quite a lot of similar scope of work, but in a larger scale, the Lions Group Inc. Due to that economic meltdown between 2008 to 2012, the Lions Group could not sustain that downsize, hard economy situation, and we had to close that business and start BRTU Construction. When we started BRTU Construction, we could not get support on our bond need. So just to make things clear, you can have a lot of money, you can have a lot of equipment, you can have a lot of good qualified professionals.
A lot of experience.
Yeah, a lot of experience. You won't be able to bid on whether it is government or private jobs if you cannot provide a bid bond. That means construction, and in construction, one of the most important elements is the ability to bond projects. So BRTU had money, had experience, had equipment, but we could not get bond. And that's how we end up, I talked to a friend of mine that happened to be also Enrique's friend, which is our mutual friend. And I mentioned to him the challenge we have. We have the ability to do works, but we cannot get a bond. And he suggested, he told me he will look into and give me some feedback. He said he has a good friend that might help. And definitely the phone call, a couple of hours later, he called and said, why don't you call Fulcro? Enrique. I say, okay, will do. So that's how we initiate the relation. Luckily, Enrique was a very responsive person, and he said, I want to come down and talk to you. You sure? Yeah, okay, come on. And less than a week, we met, and surprisingly, Enrique put together, you did put together a program that meets our need as well as our capacity, and I guess it's all history after that.
I think you mentioned it, I think correctly. Without at least in the scope of work or the type of work that you're in, civil work, whether public or private, although mostly private, if you are not able to bond, or if you don't have capacity or support from a surety, then you're not a contractor. You can't work at all. I think that was a huge success for us as business partners, that we were able to get that done, let's say, pretty quickly. So I'm happy that you had that experience.
Yeah, both MJ and I, when we started BRTU, we never thought, we're not foreign, into applying and dealing with insurance bonds and so on. So we never thought, starting BRTU, that would be a big challenge for us because, we worked through it. We had a relationship with, several other agents and so on, but it wasn't as easy as we thought. We had the experience, like you said, resources. Here it is. We have, a cash flow to start with, get us a bond. And our previous personal experience or prior to BRTU, all the experience we had is almost nullified and it's not getting us anything. So we struggled, the challenging first few years, I would say, prior to meeting you. And, our beginning also was not, as big as we wanted to be, but it was really a great move.
I think that looking back, I think that the market itself, when I talk about the market, I talk about, maybe, brokers such as Fulcro, they didn't catch up necessarily with the market conditions. I mean, because the same way the construction industry suffered, the surety industry suffered, the insurance industry suffered.
Correct.
So what the market was used to prior to the economic recession, after it's a different scenario. Plus you add to that, at least on our experience, and I think part of our success here in the US is helping minority-owned companies, particularly in construction. And what we've noticed throughout our 12 years here in Atlanta and Orlando is that minority-owned contractors or firms are underserved in many ways. I don't know why the minority-owned contractors are underserved, but it is a reality that we have seen throughout the years. So I think bringing or being able to provide quality service and share our knowledge, our industry knowledge properly, because I keep saying it, in many conversations, and you're gonna, they're gonna hear me say multiple times that this is not rocket science. We're not doing anything, that requires, extreme IQ. And so the fact that it's that our businesses are being underserved is a huge missed opportunity, and a great opportunity for companies like us. So again, very happy to hear that we were able to support successfully. Aside from that, I would also like to highlight how the relationship has evolved, because and we've talked about it before too. I feel like you begin as clients, and obviously success aside and being able to provide solutions aside, you become friends, you become family, and you start sharing things that are more, more than just a business relationship, and you start understanding things that are, getting to know things that are way more than just a business relationship. And I think that provides, that's also a benefit to you as a contractor and to us as a broker. I think it's a mutual benefit. So do you feel, would you say I'm correct in that statement? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think it is. The relation grew over the years as the mutual trust on one another grew the same way. And also the personal friendship grew over the years. And it actually become, Enrique become advocate for BRTU and representing in every opportunity BRTU has to grow and expand. And that probably has mainly something to do with that personal relation and more than the business itself. I mean, more than the business relation itself, because that personal relation kept 24/7 open line communication. Anytime I need to ask or to make submit bid bond, whether it doesn't matter what day. Hey, Enrique, I have this. I need to send it. Would you please look at it? Which you don't find in many places. I mean, so that's how it developed, and we end up developing that personal relation become more so, spending some time together, enjoying, all kind of foods, whether it is Latin or Mediterranean cuisine or Ethiopian food. So
that's where I think I gained the most respect when you guys took me to an Ethiopian restaurant and I was enjoying the food that you guys were ordering. I think that was what made it better.
That's true, and we end up knowing each other more than ever, because we spend time together, and spend times in talking about the culture, the family. That those help.
Interesting. So this is a little, out of topic, but the reality is that, when you start, you guys are from Ethiopia, we're a company from Puerto Rico, that you would think culturally it's way different, but when you start, when we start getting to know each other, when we start, discussing about family, about values, about interests, there's much more similarities than there are differences, and that's a very interesting part of it. Especially when you were talking about being an advocate, and we talked about it last time as well. When you develop that relationship, and again, it's a recurring topic, I think, with many of our clients. At the end of the day, you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with business owners. You support your families with BRTU. You support, you have employees that also support their families. So if we don't take our job personal, if we don't take it serious, I mean, you're putting people's well-being at stake. So certainly, we have to be very passionate and obviously, gaining the trust. Not only I'm gaining your trust, but you're gaining my trust, because I feel really comfortable doing anything that has to, anything that I can in my power to support your business, to help you, continue to operate, to grow. And, we'll continue to do that as long as it takes.
Yeah, apart from, I think this personal touch, friendship, and so on might be, something that helps us talk genuinely about our needs, and you the same way. One thing that I came to realize that, what we are looking from an agent and you are able to provide is, we demand, okay, we want these, you just, don't come take our information, pass it through and bring us an answer. You analyze what we gave you, study it, and confront us if there is something that we are, MG and I are, a little too pushy and demanding. Okay, our ego is a little bit
that's
in
it.
front, and we wanted, we want to get there faster. And one thing the Fulcro does is, look at the data. Hey guys, you are pushing it too much. How about, we get there in a couple of years? Let's put it this way now. Kind of putting a brake to our demand in a reasonable way.
Yeah, I think that's part of
advise us. Yeah,
that's part of your role as well. I think sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes the surety is right, and sometimes the surety is wrong. You just have to find, a balance. So yeah, the transparency in conversations is certainly key. And again, we have to find, not always we're going to get what we want, but we have to find ways to do it, because at the end of the day, your success is our success. If you're not successful, we're not successful. So we're always going to look for ways to making you be successful without putting your company in harm. At least that's our approach. So, but anyways, I think to wrap it up, again, thank you. I'm really happy to hear those words coming from you guys. I really appreciate that. Not only myself, but everyone here at Fulcro, and we appreciate you as our clients as well. I don't know if there's anything in particular. Let's not talk about the time I almost got you arrested in Puerto Rico.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
You were I don't know, for some of us probably the night was spoiled, but we had really a great day. We went out into, I forgot the name of the island.
Palomino.
Yeah.
Palomino Island.
On a boat, yeah. We're having a good time, drinks, swimming, boats, and then so on, speedboating and so on. And then, going back to San Juan at the end of the day, the Coast Guard followed us, maybe 2-3 minutes, on our way back, stopped us, jumped to our boat and said, hey, where are you coming from? All these kind of questions. Where are you coming from? Where are you visiting? And so on. We're the ID, passport, and we're confused. Luckily, we're all citizens. We pulled out and showed him. He looked at it and said, oops. They all started scratching their head. Well, they have to find something, to justify their actions.
We were detained for probably about 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
So it was a huge misunderstanding, a very painful misunderstanding. But anyways, we ended up having fun.
Yeah, you guys laughing, but Salam is still.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I was cool trying to comfort her, but I'm convinced there's nothing wrong, and I'm taking things slow, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
But rightfully so, I would say. But I'm glad everything turns out to be okay that day.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
A very good time, regardless.
Yeah. No, that's not what you get for working with Fulcro, but maybe the good times you do get that. But anyways, again, thank you for saying yes to this idea and being part of it, and really appreciate it. So.
But I will say this: you have done such a great job in helping BRTU, and I trust that is the case to everyone out there who really has a dream and the ability to do what we done, and I'm sure you. I like the way you think. I mean, the market, the industry has some soft spot neglecting minority business enterprises. showing and having that interest is extremely important to us, not just for us, but for those who has no partner out there looking for their interest and advocating in their behalf. Fulcro does that, and I really appreciate. And believe me, there are out there hundreds who needs that. And keep doing what you are doing.
Will do.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching us. Stay tuned for the next Fulcro Connect episode.